In a world full of noise, two voices rise above the chaos. Ron and Brian. They speak truth. They stir thought. They accidentally help. News, nonsense, and necessary self-care. Join the cult of Ron and Brian. Because the work is so important.
Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday night. It is 8 o'clock, and it's time to do the work. Because as we always say, the work it's so important, people. Joining me here for episode 366, as always, is my good friend, Brian. Brian, how the hell are you, sir?
Not good. Not good.
No?
No. I think I've got allergies.
Ooh.
I've got a somewhat scratchy throat.
Okay.
Have you ever coughed so much to the point where you get lightheaded and think you might pass out?
Sometimes.
Like you get into like a little coughing fit.
Yeah.
And then like suddenly you're like woozy, and you have to like hold on to like a hard surface like the bathroom sink or your penis. These are the type of things that I've been experiencing all weekend. Friday, I felt fine. Woke up feeling like garbage on Saturday. Was dead to the world for most of the day. But I'm here Sunday because I'm here to put the work in. Why is that, Ron?
Because the work is so important, Brian.
So important. How are you doing, Ron, more importantly?
I'm good. You know, it's the summer is just flying by.
Hot podcaster summer.
And sad to say, we are probably just a month away of saying goodbye to Hot Podcaster Summer one more time.
Hot podcaster summer.
But I am excited to get this episode under our belt. It's going to be a great night. We talked about the new web store last week. We would be remiss if we didn't mention it again at cultofronandbrian.myshopify.com. Just a reminder, we have a new coffee line out there. We've gone through, we heard that there were some issues with some pricing, so we have gone in, we have fixed the pricing issues. All of the pricing that you see is correct now. And I think since we're talking coffee, Brian, it just makes sense to talk drink of the week.
Drink of the week.
Na zdrowie.
Salud.
Drink of the week.
Proszę.
Who's?
Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week. Drink of the week.
Brian, coincidentally enough, what are you drinking tonight since you're a little under the weather?
Ron, this bag may be in my hand, but it also looks like a bag to the right of the screen. It's in one of these beautiful coffee mugs that are also available on our Shopify because the merch is so important. Ron, this week I am drinking a specialty brand. It is the Cult of Ron and Brian official French roast coffee. I picked up a pound of these beans. They were, some people like to get their coffee ground. They don't want to have to churn and burn it themselves. They like to sit there and receive it already prepared so that it can go into their coffee maker. I like to grind my beans. I like to run my fingers through them before I dip my hands and put them into the coffee pot. I'm drinking French roast coffee, Ron. And this French roast coffee, I'm going to describe it one way. And that is, it is a special blend of grade coffee from Central America. It is fair trade adjacent. It is their dark roast. This is French roasted coffee, Ron. And I'm about to take my first sip of this. I opened the bag earlier today. Got a nice whiff of it. You know, I love the smell of coffee at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night when we are recording this live. And I'm going to have a sip of coffee right now.
I mean, I forgot to brew my coffee tonight, but I do have the breakfast blend for all of you that like a lighter roast. I had the breakfast blend, ironically enough, for breakfast this morning. Very nice. How is the French roast?
Good. I will say this. I stray away from Starbucks, the brand that shall not be named on this show. I stay away from corporate coffee. I find that their French roast is traditionally it's burnt. It is over roasted. It's very acidic.
Right.
It does not have what I would describe as a smooth, flavorful sip. This cult of Ron and Brian French roast coffee, utterly delicious, smooth. I would tell you, Ron. I'm already 3/4 the way done with my coffee. I'm going to be wired. I will be wired for After Dark this week.
We will have the opposite of sloppy Brian. We will have amped up Brian for After Dark.
Deep focus.
Yep.
I forgot to take my meds today. I wonder if that's why. Ron, what are you drinking today?
So bringing back one that we have had on the show before, a personal favorite of yours and mine, Hitachino Nest White Ale from Japan. This is a wit beer brewed with coriander, orange peel, and nutmeg. It's a refreshing beer with spicy notes, a soft flavor, and mild acidity, produced by wheat malt. It is delightful, to say the least. Let's take a look at this in an official Ron and Brian podcast glass. Sip that.
Take a good sip. You know you're going to like it. You know you're going to like it.
It is one of my favorite beers and not heavy. What's the alcohol content on this? I always forget. 5.5%.
That's not bad for crushable a white ale. Yeah.
For hot podcaster summer.
Hot podcaster summer.
And it's also not that pink Hitachino, which is undrinkable.
Right.
Undrinkable. That Hitachino was terrible.
It is amazing to me how Hitachino knocked it out of the park with their white ale, and yet their yuzu lager and that red rice beer borderline undrinkable.
Well, like many breweries, their record, they're very Hitachino or miss. Come on. Give me some credit on that one.
I mean, I guess I'll give you a little bit of a credit, but yeah, quite the dad joke you have going there.
To see the look of just sadness. It wasn't even disgust. There was no anger in that. That was just disappointment.
That was just disappointment. All right, well, maybe we should just move on to
Ron and Brian's Beef of the Week.
Brian, what's bothering you this week?
Me. I am my worst enemy. Yesterday, I did not wake up feeling great, but I said to myself, I'm going out into the sun today. I am going to enjoy the outdoors. Little did I know that the sun was going to be out. There were absolutely no clouds in the sky. Cloud cover was just about 0%. It reminded me of the sky on September 11th, 2001. Just the sky could not have been bluer, except this time it was not filled with melted steel. Unfortunately, what it was filled with is, I don't know if you can see it, but I burned my knee.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, now you're getting it. Here, let me there you go. I burned my
one
knees.
spot. Just that one spot.
Right here, too. You can see it.
Impressive. Yeah.
Oh, I got to tell you something, Ron. Oh, it burns. Oh, it burns. Literally, it burns. I knew as soon as I got out there, I was just like, I fucked up. Oh, I fucked up. I should have put some sunscreen on. Hours went by, and then I just, I started doing the leaning forward with my hands on my knees to try to block the sun rays. Did not help. It was bad. It was just bad.
This is why you gotta, when you're going to the game, gotta put the suntan lotion on. You gotta think ahead.
I listen, and whenever I walk out of the house, I never think to myself, hey, what do I have to do to protect myself? Because I know I'm a rugged American white male. I know that I'm going to be able to control the world. Unfortunately, the sun I cannot control. Oh, sunscreen. Great. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that one.
Yes. Always good advice from the crowd.
Yeah, especially when your older sister chimes in with that disappointing tone. Oh, I can read it. All right, Ron.
Yes.
Have you exposed any of your body parts to the horrific effects of the sun?
I can't say that I did this weekend. We were outside, out back a lot, but stayed under an umbrella in the shade because, I'm a pale white guy that burns easily. So that will not be my beef of the week this week.
Well, then let me ask you a question. What
Yes.
is your beef of the week?
So my beef of the week this week, Brian, it's going to be with Amtrak. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good train ride. Don't you love a good train ride, Brian?
I love a train ride. A train.
You always used to say in college, if it was a Friday or Saturday, I want someone to run train on me. And you've always kind of carried that out. I like hopping the train when I'm going up to northern New Jersey, New York City to see good people like yourself. So
Of course.
I was heading up there on Friday afternoon. I had gotten a ticket there and back to be up there. And I'd used my Amtrak points. I was like, I got these points. I got a free ticket out of it. So, but I had like a coach seat going on the way up, and it was a full train. So I was thinking to myself, let me see if there's another train out there where, I can get like a business seat so I can do some work while I'm on the train. So I pull up the app and I look at my reservation, and there's a train that leaves like 10 minutes earlier. It's got a business class seat. So I click on it. I've got points to do the upgrade, and I try to get it to go through, and I get the message, you can't do this on the app or the website. You've got to call our 800 number. All right, fine. So I call the 800 number on hold for, let's say 10 minutes, but that's okay. I'm doing work. I'm listening to on hold music. Person hops on and says, how can I help you? I explain the situation, and they look into it. Oh yeah, I see that business class seat. Can you tell me what your PIN number is for your rewards account? I don't think I have a PIN number. Okay.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I'm like, but if I do, here are the two numbers that it would be. Neither one of those work. So I'm going to have to transfer you over now to the rewards department. They can do it without the PIN number. So they transfer me over. I'm on hold for a few more minutes. I go through the whole thing again. They pull it up and they're like, oh, sorry, that seat's no longer available. Ooh. But I can get you on a train 4 hours later that has a business class seat. I'm like, that doesn't quite work for me. But it's like, you would think if they made this easier to do online or on the app, they wouldn't need to worry about long wait times and things like that. And maybe people would actually take the train more. And 100%, Janelle, having to talk to people is the worst, the absolute worst. Like I would much prefer, even if it had a chat bot, I would have used the chat bot, but I had to call and speak to two individual people. And don't get me wrong, the people were lovely. They were fine. They were very customer service oriented. Just couldn't do what I needed. So not their fault. Again, it's a fault of the system. It's a fault of the man, Brian.
I understand that.
But just aggravating, wouldn't you think?
Now, at any point, did you go ballistic on these people?
I didn't. I have really been, from a customer service standpoint, attempting to kind of relegate my mood and not get upset. Really? And I feel, because again, it's not their fault. I don't think either one of these ladies that I spoke with is the CEO of Amtrak or owns Amtrak. I think they're just working within a system that is failed. And a good point from Billy, I try my best to pay for train tickets while Brian just walks through the turnstiles trying not to activate his tickets.
Well, here, Guy Bannister making a very good point that, Ron, you're part of the 1%, just the wealthy people. Money is not an issue for you. You're just there to be like, oh, I accidentally bought myself a coach ticket. Clearly, I deserve to be in business class, so I deserve to be there. Let me get on the phone, stat, and have them bump me up. Brian, I'm a working man. I understand, having to make every dollar stretch go as far as possible during these pre-recession days. It is important to stack your cash for the dark days that are ahead of us in this country. We're not blowing money on such lavish extravaganzas like a backyard pool.
We're not throwing away $900 on dances or anything like that.
That was an honest mistake I made many years ago. Fucking A, Joe. You even have to remind me of that. God damn.
Everybody has to. All right, let's move on. We've got our stories of the week. The stories that we grab, we like to make sure we don't let pass us by. Brian, what is your story of the week this week?
My story of the week takes us, I like to go global with my stories. I like to
Sure.
see this show as representing humanity across the world. Ron, I know you like to go small town. I go global. It's one of the reasons why the podcast hasn't really blown up as much as you and I would like.
Got it.
Your poor leadership that hopefully come this Super Bowl 84, we will have new leadership on this show. But this week, my story goes all the way to South Africa. And a lesson to be learned here, people. Do we have a photo, Matt? If you can, please post that photo of Asher Watkins that I sent you earlier this week. Here's a photo of Asher Watkins. Look at this rugged man showing the world that he is invincible. He is a master of the land. No animal is worthy of going up against him, especially when he has got his high-powered action bolt rifle in his hand. All animals. Now, this photo obviously was not taken when the story goes into effect, as you can see by the multiple cacti in the background. However, this millionaire Texas rancher and big game hunter was killed after a Cape buffalo he was tracking attacked him during a hunting trip in South Africa. Asher Watkins, 52, was on a guided safari hosted by Coenraad Vermaak Safaris in South Africa's Limpopo province recently on August 3rd. When the animal fatally gored him, the safari company issued in a statement obtained by multiple outlets. Hans Vermeek, the head of Coenraad Vermeek Safaris, confirmed his death on behalf of the company, stating that it was with deep sadness and heavy hearts that they confirmed this tragic, I'm going to put the tragic in quotation marks. Yeah. That's my own editorial addition. That's not part of the official statement from the company. Tragic death of their client and friend, Asher Watkins from the USA. He was, Vermont called the deadly attack by the unwounded buffalo. Goddamn, 1 for the buffalo, 0 for Asher Watkins. The buffalo attack sudden and unprovoked. Buffalo weighing reportedly 1.3 tons. Just basically gored this Texas hunter and killed him. I think we have to say congratulations to the buffalo.
Kudos.
Suddenly, if the animals are winning, humanity is losing, and the earth is in balance. I can't say that I'm happier. God bless this man's death. To his family, I feel sorry, but you know you're going to die with millions. You also probably have some life insurance. I imagine he had quite a bit of it. So enjoy living in your mansion, missing your father. This is to you, the water buffalo.
It's so sad. I mean, and listen, he's bringing a rifle to a horn fight, and that's
exactly
what happens here.
Absolutely. And you know what? The buffalo will win. God bless it. God bless
every
it.
Single time. Every single time.
Ron, what's your story of the week?
So my story, it goes to the lawless wasteland that you and I better know as the state of New Jersey, where 2 bakery owners are lucky to be alive after an irate customer allegedly attacked them with a knife, claiming they served him the wrong sandwich 4 years ago. This is in Paterson? How do you say that? Patterson. In New Jersey, Abed Assad and his brother Muhammad, they are owners of Baladna Bakery. Apparently, Thursday morning, a knife-wielding man confronted them about the years-old sandwich order, claiming he was served an eggplant sandwich despite asking for an egg sandwich. The argument escalated and eventually turned violent when the suspect allegedly stabbed Muhammad in the chest and slashed Abed in the arm when he tried to intervene. Both store owners were rushed to St. Joseph's Hospital for treatment, and thankfully are stable and have been released. I mean, to one extent, I get it. Like if I go in there and I'm going for an egg sandwich and I get an eggplant sandwich, I'm upset. Don't know if I'm
furious. But I don't know that I don't think I would harbor ill will over it. I think I would just move on, take my business elsewhere, and then defecate in front of the store every night when I walk by it.
I mean, they offered to give him money back. They offered to give him store credit. They asked him to get, they offered to give him a free sandwich, and then he just starts slicing people.
Is it possible that it was a delicious eggplant sandwich? Like that's the part that is not covered in this article. Could have been one of the most delicious eggplant sandwiches.
It is
Ron,
also,
you have an eggplant, correct?
It's also uncertain whether it was made the Aki way. We have no word on that at all. Sure. No word if he forgot the Bev.
Yeah, that guy needs to be arrested by the Department of Health and Human Services. There is absolutely no way that we should be encouraging such unhygienic and I mean, I can't even say there are dietary guidelines on those sandwiches. He'll just literally throw everything into the deep fryer. Let me get a pastrami, an egg on frosted flakes, pancakes inside of a honey bun with mozzarella sticks. Yeah. Sure. Oh, disgusting. And
Can I get a chopped cheese in between 2 Jamaican patties? And I'd like some Twizzlers in the middle of that.
Sure. And I remember when he first came up, I think it was early pandemic, when he first blew up. Like, I remember it was fascinating watching him concoct these sandwiches. But then I felt like he just had to keep going up and up in terms of like, why, like, what is in this sandwich that makes it worthy of like people watching again? And then it got to the point where it was just disgustingly like the amount of fried food and calories, and he would make them so high, there's no way you could eat it.
And there would just be like things that people didn't request. Like, we're going to put mozzarella sticks in your bacon, egg, and cheese, along with the Jamaican beef patty and some Pop-Tarts.
Of course. I mean, no offense to Brooklyn, but that is where the guy's located. So that's, protect yourself, Janelle.
Brian, I know you have talked often about what a fan of the WNBA you are. They continue to have issues with sex toys being thrown onto the court. What's the latest on that?
Oh, I thought you were about to play a video or an audio. I don't know why. This is where I'm not. Listen, I don't know what's happened, but there have been 4 substantiated incidents, I believe, in the past week of fans attending WNBA basketball games throwing plastic or rubber or polyurethane or some type of synthetic material or cotton or rayon, or they could also be made out of.
This time's gotta stop.
Anyway, please continue.
Throwing rubber dildos onto the court. Now, the first couple that were thrown landed clear onto the court. I don't know what the purpose of the first thrower, the dildo thrower, we're going to call him DT1. We're not really sure what the intention of DT1 is. However, there were DTs 2, 3, and 4 this past week. I believe the first one took place at a where was it? Hold on, I've got these written down. It was a New York Liberty versus the Fever. I think that's Indiana Fever. And then the Sky and the Dream game also had sex toys thrown. I believe we are at the phase of copycats. And more troubling, and this is the part where I think it's most disturbing, the sex toys being thrown are not reaching the court. They are landing, near the court. The last 2 have hit paying customers. I'm not sure who's buying tickets to this, but 2 people were acknowledged that they were hit with a rubber dildo. Nobody said whether it smelled like it was out of the box or whether it had been used or not. However, I just think that at this point, if you are going to throw a dildo on the court, and also let's face it, people, why limit yourself to a WNBA game? Right. It's already been done before. Let's expand. Okay. This past weekend, My Chemical Romance played MetLife Stadium in a concert. Not one green dildo was thrown on stage. The New York Yankees played the Houston Astros earlier today, got demolished 7-1, I believe. I heard no references to a green dildo being thrown in. You got to start.
The All-American Rejects played at a Sheetz outside of Pittsburgh this weekend. Perfect venue to be throwing sex toys. Nothing.
They sell them at Sheetz. All you got to do is just walk inside. And go to the back aisle. You may have to pull that curtain across. The one where it's just like all those little strings with the
You're
beads
saying
on
you might
them.
have to part the curtains to get in there?
And then next thing you know, you could have bought. It's one thing to be a copycat. I get it. I'm excited. I'm sorry if I get excited by this. Here we go. Billy asked a great question. How does one get dildos into the venue? You hide it. You hide it in the only place where you can. And Christopher Walken is going to tell you exactly where it is. Just look up that scene.
Classic. Just classic. Brian,
Yes.
going to Texas, the owner of Trump Burger down in Texas may soon be deported as part of the president's mass deportation campaign. This, of course, falls under the category of fuck around and find out. So this is Roland Biani from Lebanon. He opened his Donald Trump-themed burger joint in 2020. He had arrived here in the U.S. on a non-immigrant tourist visa back in 2019. The visa expired in February of 2024, but he didn't leave. And he continued to live in the country illegally while supporting Donald Trump and voting for him. Now he is going to be deported. Damn shame, Brian. Aren't we just heartbroken to hear this? There's no sound coming from me, Brian.
What? I was going to say that the man really does know how to rock a black hoodie. So, one of the Brotherhood is being kicked out of this country, and I cannot support it.
It is also interesting that he's married to someone who is a U.S. citizen, but his family has told Homeland Security that it is a sham marriage and was only for the purpose of him staying in the country.
His own family sold him out?
Pretty much, yes.
They must be Democrats.
Possibly. So we'll see. I mean, it's a damn shame, Brian, when people get exactly what they support.
Now, do you think he made a good burger?
I mean, it's tough to say. Looking at the photo of the burger on the website, it looks like it is frozen patty, pre-processed bun, just with a. Now, the one thing I'm surprised about also is that Trump just never put a cease and desist on this, because Trump only likes to he wants to be the only person making money off his name.
But is it also not possible that this guy's meat, he's using the remaining meat from the Trump meat box? He's
grinding up the Trump steaks?
Yes. I mean, those were only the finest of the ASPCA issued steaks.
Only the best steaks. Only the most privileged cows get to make my steaks.
Put it on your black stone that sits confidently near your pool, a little too close for some people's comfort. But I swear I'm not going to spill my black stone into the pool while you're in it.
I'm sorry. Are you using a black stone? That's way too woke to cook on. I use a white stone.
Oh, gosh. Okay, let's not get racial here. Let's not get racial here.
All right, let's continue to get political, where we go to Utah, where a member of the Senate, a GOP senator, helped in changing the child rape law in his state after a relative of his was accused with sex with a minor. This is Senate President J. Stewart Adams. There was a bill that was passed in 2024. There was wording in there that reduced the criminality of sex with underage people. He had an 18-year-old relative who was accused of having sex with a 13-year-old, and apparently got a severely reduced sentence, and also did not have to register as a sex offender, did not do any jail time, because it allowed his charges to be changed from child rape, which is a first-degree felony, down to a less serious third-degree charge of unlawful sexual activity.
Yep. Nothing creepy here. Nothing that a average American should not be proud of, knowing that this is your hard-working representative government in action. Had this been a highway project where there had been a need for more lanes because there was too much traffic affecting the rush hour commute. I am sure that it would have been just as swiftly handled as this case was itself.
Well, I'm sure that was probably the biggest thing facing the people of Utah. So thankfully they were able to get that law updated. So 18-year-olds, so you still have to be in high school. If you are an 18-year-old that is not in high school, you don't get the free pass. But if you are 18 and in high school, you can have sex with underage kids, and you'll get the lesser charge.
So I should not go out to Utah, is what you're telling me.
You would have problems, yes.
God damn it.
I know.
Discrimination. By the way, just for those people that are keeping count during this episode, the allergy forecast for the West New York area is halfway between moderate and very high. And one of the top pollens is ragweed pollen. Ladies and gentlemen, I've just diagnosed myself as having allergies.
I mean, it feels like you've got a touch of the new COVID variant, but we'll go with allergies.
How sad would that be if I got COVID right now?
Oh, that'd be bad. That'd be bad. We won't even talk about that. We're not going to send that energy out into the universe. No. Tuesday, Brian, the U.S. Coast Guard released updated findings about the Ocean Gate tragedy, stating that Ocean Gate used, quote, intimidation tactics to evade regulatory scrutiny in the years leading up to the June 2023 Titan submersible tragedy. These conclusions are part of an over 300-page report released by officials into the incident, where they concluded, shockingly enough, the loss of 5 lives was preventable.
Shocking. Did not know.
I mean, it feels like they talked about how the design was faulty, the materials were faulty. There was, a lot of regulatory things that they circumvented by producing some of this outside the country. But I didn't see anything surprising by this entire report. Like, I think we all knew what the shortcomings of this company and its CEO were.
First off, you and I were avid followers of this news story when it happened. I remember when the announcement went out that this submersible in the Northern Atlantic had gone missing. I remember you actually went downstairs into your basement and you got inside your submersible, had your wife seal you in there so that you could actually have a countdown to the same amount of oxygen that they did. The very fact that you did an entire podcast inside your submersible, I believe that was episode 263. Roughly. Matt, please look it up, confirm the number. However, it is, there's nothing new in here. We all watched the Netflix report that went on. And what was it, a 2-parter Netflix series, or was it one of those hour-and-a-half movies?
I want to say it was like an hour-and-a-half movie.
And everything that the government report just implied was included in there. They showed the Gestapo tactics that the founder, Rush Stockton, I believe was his name.
Stockton Rush. You got it close.
Fuck, I was so damn close. Stockton Rush used on employees who spoke up with safety concerns about the submersible. We all know that, he used some very shady types of corporate documents to claim that the products, that the materials they were using had been approved by government agencies, by elite colleges that were involved in the submersible industry. He was absolutely seen as being a wild card in a very small submersible community. James Cameron, who we know does an amazing job directing a movie. See Titanic, people. Don't go see Avatar. Has Avatar 2 come out? Not yet, right?
I think Avatar 2 came out, but I think there's another Avatar that's supposed to come out.
That's the fact that next week I will be replaced by an avatar. I believe you got ChatGPT already prepared to
Already working
do a
on it.
facsimile. Yeah. Um, but nothing shocking in this government report. It almost feels like it shouldn't have been a focus of our energies. The warning is there for anybody who wants to learn about it.
I mean, at the very least, it should not have taken 2 years to
Sure.
gather all this information. Like, I get you're going to
Correct.
investigate it, but I feel like this could have been wrapped up in 90 days.
Listen, the IRS has been investigating you for what, 24 years
Roughly.
for all of the missing merch money?
All of my deductions are legal, Brian, and I've got receipts around here somewhere.
Is it not true that that is one of the reasons why you moved to Pennsylvania, for the very lax enforcement of income tax laws?
So, Brian, people out there looking to make some fast cash, here's a way to do so. The Trump administration on Thursday offered a $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro. Here is a picture of him. That's quite the fit. Like, I love a suit with a sash and medals and pins. Like, there's a lot. That's a fit right there, my friend.
Yeah, but he's got to take the right hand down. He's got to bring the right hand down. Elon Musk made that gesture just about a year ago, received a lot of heat over it. I think when you're going to wave, you don't do it at an angle. You come straight ahead and you go side to side. You do not angle it whatsoever. That's dangerous territory that he's swimming in right now. Also, considering that he is pissed off the U.S. administration of Donald Trump, who I think is just itching to show the world how authoritarian we can get. Do you have any understanding why we're going after this guy?
So Pam Bondi posted a video on Twitter, the best way to do things these days, of course, saying, quote, Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. The DEA so far has seized 30 tons of cocaine linked to Maduro and his associates. So apparently they are saying he's a drug runner.
Okay. Well, then there's not much I can do about that.
So apparently this is interesting. So back previously, when he was indicted in a slew of federal charges back in March of 2020, Trump, during his first administration, had initially offered a $15 million reward. Now has bumped that up to $50 million. Biden had raised it, to $25 million. And then Trump doubled that. The DOJ has seized over $700 million of Maduro-linked assets, including 2 private jets, 9 vehicles, and more. But he's still out there.
Rod, it is very clear. You're going to ask, where is that $50 million coming from? It is from the tariff money that we have collected. I personally am deriving such a perverse enjoyment over watching government announcements of how much tariff money they have collected, as if it is a good thing, knowing that their supporters do not realize that it is simply just additional taxes on the American public, especially during a time where we do not have a manufacturing base. Right. It's nothing but good. Nothing but good. We should be celebrating the fact that we are being unduly taxed.
Well, Brian, here's something that'll make you happy. I know, because you are our official crypto correspondent of the Cult of Ron and Brian.
Sure.
President Trump, in an executive order, told the Labor Department to loosen its guidance on putting crypto in workers' retirement accounts. So you will should have the ability in your 401k to have access to these exotic financial instruments. Will you be shifting, I should say, how much of your 401k portfolio will you be shifting into crypto once this happens?
Absolutely 0%. This, I mean, if anything has got a this will crash the market written all over it. It is the idea that we are going back to the pre-Enron and what was the other company that had all those accounting issues that also got taken down around the same time. Just the very concept right now that we have Sarbanes-Oxley, very strong financial regulations in place for what people can do with their 401ks. I mean, we do not have pensions outside of government jobs anymore. So just the very fact that Trump is stepping forward and saying, sure, I want people to put their life savings and their funds for retirement into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, more importantly, into, he's going to do it, Trump coin, he's going to insist on. But not only that, and this is the part that I find equally concerning, is that part of that executive order is also loosening the rules on what companies are prohibited against in terms of directing employee 401k contributions towards. We all know, we all remember Enron when we had employees who were basically offered only Enron stock for their 401k account. I don't know why I just said coin. But the concept was you had all these people that worked for Enron, and they were cooking the books. They were inflating their numbers, so the stock price was outrageous. And then suddenly all these people, once the stock crashed, the company was starting going out of business, their life savings was wiped out, absolutely wiped out, because they only had one option. These regulations that Trump has just passed will allow companies to do that again, where they're going to be able to say, here are your options, and we are going to create benefits for you to put it into stocks that have a direct tie to the company's performance. And that's never worked out bad for people. There was never an economic crash in 2008 that caused people to go under in terms of their mortgages. People who had, were a year away from retiring, who are now forced to work for the rest of their life. People who had retired now suddenly have to re-enter the workforce as Walmart greeters, as supermarket employees, as hotel executives. These types
Brian,
of what?
Not to interrupt you, but don't you feel it's the American way to be able to make the stupid decisions that will cost you your life savings?
I will tell you why I believe that it is not a good move. And that is because when the financial institutions weaken, the government will step in to support them. Ron, when you go under on your mortgage, the federal government will provide you zero assistance. When JP Morgan decides to invest trillions of their deposits into risky investments that do not pay off, they are going to sit there and go to the federal government and say, you need to replenish those funds out of the monies you are collecting from the tariffs and the tax dollars, and you need to prop us up until we get on our feet again. And that is the taxpayer covering the large corporations who are, quote unquote, too big to fall. Meanwhile, the average American will receive no support. We saw it at COVID when the PPP loans were just given out by the millions to the corporations, and the average American received $600. It's going to happen again. And I'm not trying to be fatalist here. It's going to happen again.
All right. Next up,
child. I'm going to say this: the caffeine in a fucking French roast cup of coffee. I feel like I'm like at peak mental ability.
Listen,
it's not even.
I don't think you've contributed this much since the episode 108. Brian's on crack. Like, you were on point that episode. I think 366 on point also. Next up, a child protective services worker in Alabama has been arrested after a 3-year-old boy in her care died while left for hours in her car in 108-degree heat. Department of Human Resources employee Kella Stanford was charged last Friday over Katorius Starks Jr.'s tragic July 22nd demise in Birmingham that saw him left alone in the vehicle for 5 hours in the searing heat. Stanford, who works for a third-party firm contracted by the department, had been tasked with taking little Katorius to a supervised visit with his biological father the day he died. She had picked him up from daycare where he'd been dropped off by his foster family ahead of the scheduled visit. After the visit, Stanford allegedly ran errands, including stopping at a grocery and tobacco store, instead of taking the child back to the daycare. She then drove to her own home where she left Katorius buckled inside the car with the windows rolled up as temperatures soared to 108 degrees. He was pronounced dead later in the day at the scene. She was booked into the Jefferson County Jail under the state's AMIA White Act, which prohibits leaving a child or incapacitated person unattended in a car. She was released on $30,000 bail that day.
Just disgusting. Ron, I remember you shared a joke in the group chat when this story came out earlier this week. You shared the hashtag "Catorious in life, not victorious in death." I felt that it was completely lacking in taste. A young boy's life was vanquished.
Don't believe that happened.
Ron, hashtag be better.
Well, I will argue that point, but let's move on to our next story, where a former UC health doctor who performed genital ultrasounds in his bedroom on men from his running group who went there for heart scans has been found guilty of felony charges. This is a photo of Rudell Saunders. He's seated. His attorney is standing there. He was found guilty of 2 counts of practicing medicine without a license. He faces up to 12 months in prison on each count. 2 men who met Saunders through a running group testified that he convinced them on various dates in 2022 to come to his North Side apartment for what they believed would be heart scans. He was a resident at the time, told the men that he needed a certain number of ultrasounds for his training. One of the men testified that he was interested in the ultrasound because of a family history with heart problems. But then when he would get to the apartment, he would say, "Oh, let's do these." The last part of the exam would involve the man's testicles.
Ron, you insisted that we do a testicle ultrasound before we did the very first episode back in 1992. And I remember you telling me that my testicles were deformed, and that's when I had the nudicle insertion.
Well, that was for insurance purposes, so that was legit. But yeah, number one, would you go to someone's apartment for a heart scan? That's question one. Question two then would be, if you were at said apartment and the person said, "Okay, well, this last part of the test is going to involve your testicles," wouldn't that be where you draw the line?
No. The truth is, how well do I know this person?
Okay.
If this is somebody that I have become friendly with as part of a running club, and that they have presented themselves as, working towards some type of medical degree or certification, and they said, "Hey, listen, I don't really know many people, but I need to practice on somebody. Would you mind coming in for I would let you do it if you said to me that you needed to do it. I would let Billy, I'd let Janelle, Johanna, any of these people step forward and said, "Hey, listen, I'm working on towards a certification, but I need people to practice on." I would 100% take. I mean, let's face it, Ron. It doesn't take a lot for me to take my shirt off.
Brian, the next time I see you, I want to give you a heart scan because I'm concerned about your health.
That's perfectly fine with me. Just do me a favor. Start about 2.5 feet below the heart.
Brian, an imposter nurse was arrested after treating over 4,000 patients at a Florida hospital without a medical license in a 2-year scam that staffers only discovered when she was up for a promotion. This photo here is the mugshot of Autumn Bardisa. She was arrested on Tuesday after allegedly treating 4,486 individuals since July 2023 at Advent Health Palm Coast Parkway while lying about being a registered nurse. Authorities began investigating her back in January after hospital administrators fired her for allegedly impersonating a registered nurse. When she applied for a position, she indicated that she had passed the required schooling to become a registered nurse, but had not yet passed a national exam to get her license, later telling her supervisor she had passed the exam and even provided a license number that matched her first name, but did not match her last name, which she explained, stating that she had recently gotten married and changed her last name, but never provided a marriage license when asked to do so. So she was allowed to practice for 2 years with the hospital knowing that she had never provided the proper documentation to prove that she had taken this test.
This is Florida, Ron. Is this a crime? I mean, what has she done that is so wrong considering it is Florida?
Well, apparently enough to be charged with 7 counts of practicing in a healthcare profession without a license and 7 counts of fraudulent use of personal identification. And she is currently being held on $70,000 bond.
I don't see anything wrong here.
Really?
She looks like, yeah, it looks like she clearly had the medical training. None of her patients died or suffered or whatnot. That's not referenced. It seems as if she provided good medical care for those 4,000 patients. They're also in Florida. Once again, do they matter, Ron? Do those patients matter to us as a greater America? I would argue the answer is no.
Okay. You're quite, I don't know, the caffeine might be affecting your judgment tonight. I'm not 100% sure.
Am I making more sense or less sense? That's the question. Should I start
that
drinking
is the
coffee?
question. I'm not sure.
Well, I think we're gonna have to figure this one out.
If nothing else, I think it's a ringing endorsement of the new Ron and Brian coffee.
French roast, people, get the French roasted coffee right here. The sticker, the label says it all. Cult of Ron and Brian. Get the whole bean, grind it yourself, elevate your game a bit.
There you go. Billy's saying you're making no more sense than usual. So
almost a compliment. Almost a compliment from young William Esquire.
Speaking of Brooklyn, we were talking about that earlier. There is a pop-up location in Brooklyn, New York for Frida, a company renowned for its baby products. It has teamed up with small batch ice cream maker Oddfellows to introduce a unique ice cream flavor that is supposed to be inspired by breast milk. So while not made with real breast milk, the creators claim it tastes remarkably similar. It combines sweet and salty notes with hints of honey and features a distinct yellow hue. The ice cream was developed through multiple tastings, incorporating cow's milk ingredients and colostrum powder to mimic the nutrients found in breast milk. It includes omega-3s, lactose, protein, vitamins, and minerals. Perverts of the world celebrate. Your ice cream flavor is now here.
Ron, I remember you telling me about this when this ice cream product was in beta testing. I remember you telling me you had signed up as an official taster. You were, if I remember correctly, their top taster. You went through about 43 pounds of the different types of the breast milk ice cream last summer. What was your experience? From the start to finish. Obviously, you were giving solid feedback. You're doing this right. You're doing this wrong. It doesn't taste enough like breast milk. Now it tastes too much like breast milk. How do you walk me through your experience?
Brian, I think I only consume the best Cambodian breast milks. So I have not tried this ice cream here.
Really?
But you would think that might be the most heinous food item rolled out this week. But sure. No, Heinz and Smoothie King, they topped that by launching a ketchup-flavored smoothie, blending fruit with real tomato ketchup. This is thankfully not available nationwide. I think it's in like 5 major cities, and they take the ketchup and they combine it with like raspberries and blueberries and other fruits. The best, most favorable reviews I've heard say it is not as disgusting as you think it might be.
I have to say it's very disgusting. You're listen, Ron. I've dined in your chalet on several occasions. I have seen you are a large proponent of ketchup. I know you prefer the catsup that is provided in Pennsylvania. I know that Heinz is a Pennsylvania company. You shun it. You say, if it's not ketchup, I do not want anything to do with it. On a scale of 1 to, I've already tried it, Ron. What are your hopes and expectations for this smoothie?
I mean, I don't know that I'll try it. I don't know that I have any expectations. It's much like, like if you were to make a smoothie out of like V8 or tomato juice.
Okay.
I don't know that it would necessarily hit my palate the way that I like it to be scraped.
Okay, well, I know you like things scraped.
I set that up just for you, my friend.
That's disgusting. I cannot believe that anybody would try that smoothie. That's just disgusting.
I mean, do you think something like that? I picture it is done for the sole purpose of free advertising for both companies.
You think?
Like, I can't, because again, it's not like it's a nationwide rollout. So it's like
Right.
It's 5 or 6 states and a limited amount of locations. So it's not a profit center. But look how many people are now talking about both Heinz and Smoothie King.
And now the question is, Ron, how close are you to any of the locations where this product will be sold?
It is not sold in Pennsylvania. We do have a Smoothie King that opened up a couple of years ago, close by. Never gone there.
Have you organized a local protest? I think you can get some media attention on it. Standing protesting with some placards. We want the ketchup smoothie. We want the ketchup smoothie. Buy Cult of Ron and Brian merch.
I'm a little busy right now. A little busy, but I'll see if I can get that together this week.
All right. I just, I'm a little worried about you.
Understood. Brian, are you familiar with the influencer Joey Swoll?
No, I am not familiar with him, but I know that was the name of your penis when you were in high school. You said that that you were going to take out the girls at Burger King so that they could meet Joey Swoll.
Anyway, so Joey Swoll, real name Joey Sergo. He is a fitness influencer. He has built a large following on social media. Due to his advocacy for gym positivity. He calls out people that target beginners, the people that gym shame, or people that make the gym feel unwelcoming and safe. He's become very popular by that. But he took a hit this past week after posting a tribute to the recent passing of a WWE Hall of Famer, Hulk Hogan. He posted a short clip across his social media accounts from an old video of himself dressed as Hulk Hogan while working out at a gym. Of course, he got some backlash. Some people, talking about Hogan's problematic past with racism and some other things. So apparently, he made the comment that he was saying he used the word colored people when referring to the people that were commenting on it. And so apparently does not realize that we don't really use that term anymore.
Actions have consequences. Have consequences. I always say this, and we need to heed to it. It's not just, you can't just use whatever language you want. It is 2025, people, and it's time to be respectful.
He did not do the work. He has apologized, and he said he's going to do the work, but I feel he has not done the work yet, Brian.
No, and also, if I remember correctly, didn't he immediately delete all of his social media as the backlash happened and then decided to come back afterwards?
He said he was done, because all of the good he had done was erased in mere minutes.
Sure.
So he tapped out.
So he's claiming he did good?
I think his message of gym positivity, he did good in some areas, and this was clearly just a touch problematic.
All right. Okay. All right.
Let's see if we can fit one more story in where we've got Howard Stern's future with SiriusXM up in the air as his $500 million contract nears an end. It was 5 years, $500 million, his most recent contract. He was only doing 3 live shows a week. And he was taking off like half the year. I don't think he's been in the studio since COVID. I think he he broadcasts remotely. I know Robin has been broadcasting remotely since her cancer
Wait
treatment.
a second. So the videos that they show where it looks like the people are being interviewed by him in the studio, those are all fake?
So the guests are in the studio and there are crew members in the studio. Howard has a studio built at his home.
Sure.
And so he's appearing on a screen in the studio interviewing these people.
I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember hearing stories about how he had become, how do I say, very pro-vaccine, very scared of the COVID virus, and did not want to deal with people. It's been years now. There are the vaccines that were there for people that wanted to take them. Those of us who are have pure blood, still doing fine medically. Nothing wrong with me. However, it is just, I had no idea that he was still not doing the show in person. Geez, I'll admit, I can't remember the last time I heard a show that he had done.
No, and I still have a Sirius subscription, but I can't remember the last time I listened to a show of his. And, that was, some of the comments people were making was, is this similar to, what happened with Stephen Colbert? Is he being forced out for political reasons? And I think it's just a case of, I don't think the numbers make sense for Sirius XM anymore. I mean, there's some numbers in the article that says, when he first started up on Sirius XM, he was getting, up to 20 million people a day listening. And now it's around 125,000 people, which sounds right. Like to your point, I can't remember the last person I spoke to that said, "Oh, did you catch Stern this morning?" Like, so I can't imagine for what it costs Sirius. It's $100 million a year. Not all of that goes to Stern. He uses that to pay his staff and everything else.
Of course.
If let's say you've got 125,000 people subscribing, at whatever that level is, I don't even think you're at a break even at that point.
No, of course not. I mean, the other thing is just the reality of the change to society is that when he joined Sirius, it really was terrestrial radio, your FM, your AM dial, and then you had satellite radio, which just gave you all, like 100 different, channels to choose from. But those have absolutely been replaced by the Spotify, by the Apple music, whatnot. Here we go. Podcast killed the need for satellite radio. William Esquire, right again. This podcast, we were keeping a very low profile during those early Stern years. We just, we wanted to build the brand organically. We were working on our craft. It wasn't until that, we had, really cemented the format. We had cemented the power dynamic that was going to exist in this show, where you were going to be named first. You were going to be a 51% owner of the show. You were going to be year after year the podcast champion of the show. Can we see the belt? I mean, what the fuck? Are you not paying attention?
I'm paying attention.
I
don't like rubbing it in your face, Brian. The fact that I'm champion and will continue to be champion.
You've been rubbing your testicles in my face for years now, Ron. The number of times you've teabagged me is in the hundreds. I don't understand why now you would draw the line.
I think the mistake Stern made, he probably should have never signed that contract 5 years ago. He probably should have pivoted to a podcast type platform, because if you look at what he does, that's basically what he's doing. Because I don't even think he's live at 7 a.m. Like, I think he even starts later in the day. So he could have started setting up a podcast 5 years ago and be making, Joe Rogan money and work, maybe do one podcast a week and he'd be all set.
Right.
And maybe that's the next step for him. But he's always talked down about podcasts. But honestly, you look at, not just Joe Rogan, but you look at a lot of famous people that have gone into the podcast space and have made a good amount of money doing it.
Sure. I mean, and not only that, but they've stayed relevant. They've stayed relevant to the common. I cannot think of anybody being able to make the argument that Stern is a relevant entertainer right now. I've heard references to it, the show of what he does. It seems like it is leans very heavily towards the entertainment support, where he'll talk about the show to a certain extent, but most of it is still promoting Hollywood celebrities. It's
Right.
not the same show that really kind of cemented his career as being the anti-celebrity. He now leans heavily into it. He's part of that, Hamptons, New York crowd, being out and about, being seen, donating, whatnot. And also, and I don't even mean this as as a political statement, but like, he's absolutely gone political.
Right.
If you are trying to be an entertainer, why would you right off the bat go out of your way to alienate a large section of? What made him popular was that he was a voice of the common person, the blue collar worker, and then suddenly, he's sitting there talking about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris being the saviors of democracy. That was not going to fly with people. That was going to cause them to leave so that they could go listen to the Andrew Schultzes. They could go listen to the Tim Dillons. They could go listen to the other manosphere podcasters.
And let's just throw out the Sirius XM. We're more than willing to sell out to you for a significantly lower amount of money.
Oh my gosh, I would take a fraction of that.
Now, I don't want to get into a full what you're watching because we're very close to the end here. But I do want to talk about the new War of the Worlds movie featuring Ice Cube, Eva Longoria, the guy who played Agent Coulson on, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Came out on Amazon Prime, apparently filmed during the pandemic. Getting slammed. I think it has a 0% review rating on Rotten Tomatoes and a 12% audience score. I can tell you it is as bad as advertised. The acting, the special effects, the supposed technology, the plot. I think I sent you a TikTok earlier today that kind of like tore apart how bad the plot and the plot holes were.
Yeah.
If anything, it is worth 90 minutes of your day just to see how bad a movie can be.
Really? That bad?
Yeah. It's bad enough to be entertaining.
Okay. All right. I have to believe that in today's day and age, there are better uses of my viewing time. I'm a very important person. I have, I do not have a lot of time to spend in front of the TV. For me to dedicate that time towards the War of the Worlds, which you've said is a terrible piece of entertainment. But based on, your instructions, I understand that if I want to hold on to my 49% ownership of this show, I have to do what you tell me. So therefore, I will be watching that this week.
All right. You know what is a good use of everybody's time? After Dark, which will be coming up at 9:30 tonight. If you are not a Patreon subscriber, you don't know what you're missing. Just like if you're not drinking Ron and Brian coffee, you don't know what you're missing. But you can go to cultofronandbrian.com, click in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and if you become a patron at the $10 level or higher, you get live access to After Dark, which will be on, like I said, about 22 minutes from now. The last Sunday of every month, we do our pajama party where we have our listeners on with us, our subscribers join us, and we do a trivia contest. We'll have that set up again. But please join the Patreon, support the show. Just like with the money we make from the web store, we put this right back into the quality production that you see here week in and week out.
It is one of the things that I most look forward to every week. The podcast, the only thing that I care more about than the podcast is the After Dark. It is, I believe it's where you and I shine. We shine.
It is. I mean, we do very good work here. Let's not downplay that. But then we get to where, behind the paywall, you can be a little bit more sassy, a little bit more saucy.
Yeah. Yes, a little more personal.
Yes, without a doubt.
It's where we talk about, I remember we did that entire After Dark about 2 months ago, where you discussed how you have gone far right wing. You are now MAGA.
Did I say that?
I believe you are.
All right.
Are you denying that?
I don't remember that exact conversation, so I'll have to go back to my notes and look.
Do you not remember the number of times you have told me that we need to interview Senator John Fetterman? Because I remember you telling me that his views about Israel align with yours, and I refuse to do it.
All right. Well, all I can say is it's been a great episode. Next Sunday, we will be on a 1 week hiatus. Next Sunday, both of us.
It's summer. We get to take a week off.
You know, we take a little breather, but we will be back 2 weeks from tonight with both the podcast and the After Dark. Brian, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap things up?
No, I just want to say I love you, and I love everybody watching right now, and I thank you for spending your time with us.
All right. Love you too, my friend. Thank you all for joining us. We'll catch you in a couple.
Thank you for joining us for the latest episode of The Cult of Ron and Brian. A non-tax deductible contribution can be made by subscribing to our Patreon. Visit cultofronandbrian.com and click on Become a Patron. We'll see you again next week.